Hi, folks. This is to wrap up Chapter 2 with the with the fifth edition book. I'm going to summarize this chapter, just highlight key things that you need to know before we move forward on it. If you can please follow the notes I have besides the chapter glossary review that I've also posted here. If you're following along, Chapter 2 starts on the 7th edition, starts on page 27. As you go through this chapter with me, I want to point out some key things in here with this chapter. The first thing is in my slides. If you look at page 34, it talks about the semantic rules and key things that you need to understand the definitions. So make sure you know the definitions of semantic rules, know the definitions for syntax and semantic rules. Alright. Next, I want you to go over and look at page 36. It also has key things, reserved words. Know the reserved words. Okay, that's listed out there for you. Alright. So I want you, there's int, float, double, char, const, void, return. Note, main is not considered as a reserved word. Okay, so know those words. I'm going to ask you about those words on the same page. You must know that know the definition of what is an identifier. So identifier basically consists of what? Your variables, makes up your variables, constants, and your functions. Okay? So the reason you have to know what is an identifier is because you don't want to call your identifiers the same as what your reserved words are. So the way I'm going to ask this on the exam is, if you have to look at on page 37, and there's that table 2-1. What's a good identifier? What's a bad identifier? Again, reason why it's good and not with it. So please know that. Of course, it's simple enough as part of the lecture on page 38. You need to know the three groups of simple data types. What are they? Your integral, your floating points, and your enumeration with it. And we talk about your integral. Integral consists of what type? Your integers, whole numbers, without the decimal part with this thing. So if you look over the table in the next part over, here's an example. What is an int, a bool, a char, and a long? I want you to know the size of an int is 4. I want you to know the size of a bool is 1. The size of a char is 1. These are in bytes. Look at the long. It is 8 byte, so it's 64 with it. So on page 39, it talks to you about the table of 2-2. No, I don't care about the range for it, okay? But the more important is the size is more important with it. On the next page, it talks to you about page 40. I'd like for you to know what is a char data type with this thing, okay? Char data type. So make sure you understand what's a char. It's basically a letter, digits, and any special type of symbols with it. What's the size for a char? 1 byte. So that's the type of stuff I want. Make sure you'll be able to identify with it as well. So coming over to page 42, if you look at page 42, what is a top page 42? I'd like for you to know what a float, size of a float, okay, size of a float data type, and a double. So a double is 8 byte. If I can type double. So a double is 8 byte and a float is 4 byte. So what's the difference? The key word here, middle of this reason why you give a different data type, is for precisions, accuracy, rounding off. Okay. So double, a lot of times we use in currency, money, calculations, with to round off to the exact precision. Doubles are 8 bytes. Floats are 4 bytes. Alright, and read the way how this is the size of it and how it actually has the decimal to be carried out to certain positions with it. Alright, so single position versus double positions. Okay, just note the size of that. That's why I want you to be able to know. Flipping over, of course, the mathematical expression. Take, for example, know the examples on page 44. I want to give you like 5 divided into 2. Well, 5 is an int, 2 is an int, we'll give you an int. 14 divided into 7, 14 is an int, 7 is an int, we'll give you a 2. Look at the next one. 35 mod 5 is what? Is 6 times 5 is 30, has a remainder of 4. 4 mod 6 will give you a remainder of 4. Okay, so make sure you understand how to do mod on this thing. Very important with this thing. So I would review table 2-3. Alright, make sure you're able to do that for me. Alright. Modding is very important with it as well. So next page over, order of precedence. From highest level to with it as well. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally with it. So just if you can just be able to know how to do some of the basic math expression with it as well. Coming over to more important is page 551. Page 51. I'd like for you to know what static cast is. What is a static cast? Okay, this is a type conversion, and it's more important. It's an implicit type cohesion with these things with it as well. Understand how it actually works with it. Know the table on 2-9 on that same page, how the expression is converted into the data type with it. Alright, so be able to do, you're going to see something like this again with it. Again, the programming, we do this all the time. That's one of the powers that C++ has over other language with it as well. In the next part, you're moving to is the string type. One of the power that C++ has is its ability to manipulate the string data type. Now, I want you to make a note of this thing. Make sure you understand this for me, okay? I want to make sure you understand the string type. One of the things in string, I want to make sure you walk away this message right here. At the bottom of page 53, bottom of page 53, there's a sentence that says, every character, that paragraph, last paragraph, every character in the string has a relative position to the string. Very important. The position of the first character is 0. The position of the second character is 1, and so on. That's that. I need for you to know that sentence. This third sentence is the length of the string is the number of character in it. When determining the length of the string, you must always count anything, any space in the string. So flip over to the next page. I need for you to know on page 54, alright, example, and I'm going to go over this example with you, 2-10. So take for example that name William Jacob, alright? So if I ask you what is a position, you're going to start counting with what? That first letter starts with 0, alright? If I ask you to count what is the length of William Jacob, you're going to start counting with the number 1. So I would like for you to know that. Make sure you understand how it works with this thing. That's the first thing. Position and length. Make sure you know that. That's the first thing I need for you to know. The second one I'd like for you to know about string is that you need to know that you have to include a library file. In order for using string, you have to use pound include. One of your preprocessor file is ILStream library file when you do any string. So later on, when you're going to declare a data type with this, you're going to have to use this where the preprocessor files, all your header files belong. Okay, very important. Make sure you grasp that for me, please. Make sure you understand that.